Happy Wednesday. I hope everyone had a fabulous Thanksgiving, had some great time with your family, some good food. Hopefully, you weren't stuck in a ton of traffic. I did get a little bit of traffic. All of our holiday events were in town, but I have a new listing. And when I had to put the lockbox on, I hit holiday traffic and it was awful. So, yeah, what would normally be not too bad of a drive took 5 hours round trip. Just put a lockbox on. So bless y'all who travel for the holidays all the time. Also a big week in our house because Asher turns 2 tomorrow. I have no idea how he's that big. And then Olivia, my youngest, started school this week. So thankfully she's sleeping a little better. Once she gets home because they wear her out, keeping her active. And she loves it, and I love it, and it's great. But hectic time. It's the holidays. We have a lot of family stuff going on, birthdays. I'm working on business planning with the brokerage and my agents, and also opening up to some agents outside of our firm. So there's just a lot to do. And when I thought about what to touch on, I figured, it's been a while since we did a market update. And when I'm talking about business planning, I want to know the numbers too. We're trying to figure out what we can expect from an income standpoint, the same way you guys are looking at what you can expect in the market as a consumer. So it's a really important time to take a look at what's going on. I've also been having a lot of conversations one-to-one about what is happening in the market. So we're just going to dive into that a little bit and go over what's happening and what it all means. So the number of listings on the market have been fairly stable. We've seen a slight uptick the last couple months, which is completely normal. Most of the time around this time of year, people that are just considering a move aren't really looking heavily. So we do see a dip in sales in these last few months. At the same time, people who do need to move are definitely out there looking. So we do find it takes less showings to get a house under contract, but it may be less showings happening overall, if that makes sense. Listing prices have stayed pretty steady year round. What is interesting is the price that it's sold for compared to list has gone down a little. But again, a lot of that is due to the time of the year. There are just less buyers looking through the holidays. Everyone wants to be settled and have family over. So it's really the people that need to make a move who are moving, or sometimes people that are being really strategic and trying to get a deal. I don't really like that because at the end of the day, you want a home over a deal. And there's really very rarely good deals in real estate. Everything's an investment. But you tend to have less competition this time of year. So that works out. But I wouldn't say, oh, the market's crashing because things are selling under list price. It tends to happen more in fourth quarter. And then we'll probably see an uptick in second quarter of next year because that's just kind of how the cycle goes. It'll be interesting to see if that doesn't happen. So if that's the case, we'll definitely touch on that then too. The days on market have been pretty steady since June, sitting at about 32, 33 days on average. I am telling my sellers that it can take 3 months to sell a home right now. We're in what I would consider a fairly stable market. So, normal time on market, I would expect 1 to 3 months unless it's priced really, really well. And that's where it brings that average back down because some are still going within a week. But that's only if you price it really, really well. This is not 2 years ago. Things aren't flying super crazy, but they are still selling. The good thing is, back in March, April, May, days on market were actually higher. So things that are getting listed are selling. It just might take a little longer than, what you're expecting if you've been watching the market the last few years. What is also really interesting to me is how, again, media is huge into market crashes and prices going down. And I've been telling you guys, if you're waiting for prices to go down, please don't. If it's interest rates, maybe. But then when those go down, more buyers flood the market. So from October of 22 to October of 23, there was a $10,000 increase in the average and median sales prices. For the year to date, same thing, $10,000 difference in both. Median sales price actually went from about 300 to 315, but the average just in October was 362 compared to 371. For the year overall, last year was 354, and this year we're at 367. So prices are still increasing. Again, I think sellers are always going to test and see how much they can get. And so that's where we're starting to see homes going under contract below list price. But it's not significantly. When I say they're going below list price, that doesn't mean you're going to get $20,000, $50,000 off. It means we're at a 96.5% of sales price as opposed to the 99% of it that we saw back in July. The last dip, really significant dip, was back in January. January, it was below 95%, but we're 96.5. So again, not that low. Multiple offers I would never go under. If you're bidding under, don't lowball. We're still not in the market to severely lowball. You might want to start there and hope for a counter, but you're not going to get it at 75% of the list price. That's not the market we're in. And we don't anticipate seeing that. So I hope that's been helpful. Another thing that is really interesting to me that a lot of people don't understand is absorption rate. Now, there are technically two different ways to do absorption rate. You may see them in the media or online as a percentage. The way our MLS does absorption rate is in months. So we're currently sitting at 2.4 months. And what that means is if no more listings hit the market, how long would it take for the current listings to sell? And that's 2.4 months right now. So that's where, again, I'm saying expect 3 months on the market, because while average is 30 something days right now, we do have inventory for 2.5 months. So, and that's assuming all the buyers are picking one of the homes that exist now. Granted, that's also considering investment properties in need of a ton of work, multi-million-dollar properties that take longer to sell than your average home. But 2.5 months, that's gone up all year. It's even higher than it was this time last year. So what that's telling us, and this is the part where I think media impacts more than the actual market impacts. That's telling us that we have less buyers right now. So our inventory is pretty steady. Our pricing is pretty steady. Homes are still appreciating. We've actually seen interest rates dip down slightly right now. Yet there still aren't a ton of buyers. So that means that, at least to me, I take that as people being really worried about what the market's going to do or is doing and not understanding it. And so they're waiting. The advantage to those of you who are considering making a move now is that you don't have the competition of those buyers. So if you are watching my videos, watching other agents who actually pay attention to what's going on, credible sources, and not just scare tactics, then you're going to get an advantage. Now, do keep in mind, we are in that weird cycle where rent sometimes is cheaper than a mortgage right now. So don't expect your mortgage to be cheaper than what you're currently paying in rent. But those go on about a 2-year cycle. And when it flips, that's when prices and competition goes up. So if you are looking to own something, you go ahead and get in it. And then when rents go up, guess what? Your mortgage doesn't go up. So that's great. If you're not ready, that's okay. It depends on your personal situation. But it is a great, great time to take advantage of the market because we have less buyers to homes, even more so. And I talk about this a lot that we purchased this year in 2023. There are more homes compared to buyers right now than there were when we purchased. We also did around this time of year, and that was very intentional, partially because our lease was up in spring and we did have the means to carry both rent and mortgage for a couple months and make the move easier on us. But also that I know that this is the time of year that only serious buyers are looking, and people aren't going to just jump on something if they don't need to. So all of those, what I would consider a convenience buyer, aren't our competition. So we put in our offer on Christmas Eve. Yes, people are still looking. Yes, if they're looking on a holiday, they're probably going to buy that house or another house that they see, unless they just hate them all. But they are going to buy a house. No one just goes out house hunting on a holiday for fun. So we put in our offer Christmas Eve. We went under contract, and we got our house significantly under asking. They paid all of our closing costs and actually appraised for $10,000 more than we paid. And our house has since appreciated during that time. We closed February, and to now we could probably sell it for a good $5,000 to $10,000 more. Just in a ton of appreciation, but in less than a year, that's pretty good. And that's what you expect in a healthy market. It shouldn't be $30,000 every year. That's not sustainable. So keep that in mind. If you guys are looking to make a move as a buyer, I didn't realize my nose ring was sticking out. That's gross. You are in a great position because you don't have all the crazy competition. If rates dip below, I would say, if we get to at or below 5%, I would expect craziness to ensue again. If you're selling, it's still okay because we're showing homes are not sitting on the market 90 days yet. They're about a month. And so, again, given less buyers, I would anticipate hunkering down, expecting 3 months. If it goes sooner, awesome. But there are still buyers for your home too. If you guys watched previous videos, you'll see where I was talking about different niches and sub-markets of the market itself, what's selling faster than others. All of that information in that is still accurate now. I'm seeing the same patterns. Less expensive, smaller homes, one stories, those are selling faster than ones above that average home price. So keep that in mind too as you're planning. Plan accordingly. If you have questions, as always, reach out. I hope this has been informative. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and I will see you